So, my friend, last 2 weeks we discussed and understood knowledge when it is understood. Understanding is a knowledge, and that lives in the intellect can bring an end to all the suffering from the past and the current suffering. And last week we discussed this mind can live in peace all the time if we allow the mind to remain detached with the events and the things are happening outside around us, with our body, with our mind, in our relationship. Earthquake magnitude is 7. Where? In Los Angeles. And where I'm sitting? In Arizona. So you see, there is a natural sense of detachment. Mind is concerned. I am concerned. But I am not associated. Hence, O mind, be at peace, this will also pass. But there are people, they read the news, they hear it, and then they get upset if it happens to me. So I am associating myself with an event happening outside. So that association will cause the fear and the anxiety and all kinds of problems. So where is the problem? Our master says we are not fully developed seeker on the path. We have to be a seeker. Example, you learn driving only on the first hour, and the driver teacher has taught you, gave you the first-hand knowledge of the steering and the pedal and the brake and the four wheels and the rear and the front mirror. But he has yet to tell you the rules of the road. And you are driving on the rules of the road, so that rules of the road is not there. So that is what our master says, that am I a seeker? So when I am a seeker on this path, what the seeker is, what is the goal of the seeker? You always remember, you understand it. So what is that goal of a seeker? Goal of a seeker is to bring an end to all the suffering in life. That is the goal of Eastern wisdom. 1. And awakening to permanent happiness, love, and wisdom. And where they are located in me. I am of the nature of permanent peace and happiness. While listening, become aware. Do you feel that you are of the nature of permanent peace and happiness? You simply remember. So when you remember, you know it, this is your goal. This is what you are looking for. It is in the mind, as a knowledge, as an understanding. Will your mind go outside in search of peace and happiness? No. So if it does not go there, 50% of your sorrow and the anxiety and the hesitation and the anger is already gone, because we get angry, we get agitated by associating ourselves with an object outside and projecting happiness. So it means I'm not an intense seeker. I have yet to become a committed seeker. Committed seeker means I am searching inside. You go to the coal, the store, and you ask them, give me pasta. It is not there. So then you are not a seeker. So seeker knows the goal, permanent peace and happiness, end of suffering by self-discovery. So I discover, I'm searching within. The moment the mind is looking outside, then it falls short of becoming a seeker. Now the time has come. You have to be an intense, committed seeker on the path. You see, my friend, I'm not teaching a rocket science. It is as simple as that. I have to drink a cup of coffee. Will I go to the bedroom or kitchen? So that knowledge has to be kept in the mind. You are simply aware. My mind has gone to the past event. I started thinking, am I searching peace and happiness? So I have to live the life of that awareness. I believe it makes sense to you. So now the mind understands, the intellect has a knowledge that search is always within. Will you go? Will you be affected by anything outside? No, mind will not get agitated by anything outside, any event or thing or the past. People and the things and the events will come and go in your life. Your journey continues. You are a seeker. So our question today, we will answer that based on the teachings of a great master. How to attain that level of being a seeker. Then we become an intense seeker. How? What traits are required to become a seeker? Seeker is now not affected by the world outside. It may be because of the past impression, but then you are ready to take care of it. I remember a beautiful parable that is told by my master, and you might have heard it, but we will understand the context and the meaning of becoming a seeker. So when you become an intense seeker, half of the journey is already complete. Lion. You know, in the Eastern wisdom we say teacher is a lion and the seeker is a cub of that lion, the baby lion. So it happened that the mother lion gave birth to a couple of babies, and one baby is lost, and it was grown up by cows. Cows. So that baby lion was grown like a calf. He started eating, grass, and he started behaving like a calf and the cows. And he also started making a sound like a cow's, not like a lion. Because the company has, if you are associated, if you live in association with a drunkard, there is every chance that we also start drinking. What we say, we become the same person. So one day, the lion saw what this baby lion is doing in the company of the cows. And the lion was upset because that baby lion was making a noise, sound like a cow's eating the grass. So the lion thought, I have to teach this baby lion a lesson. So the lion chased that baby lion, caught him, brought him near the river, and pushed him, baby lion, to see the face in the water. Baby lion saw his face, and then the face of the lion, the shape of the lion, the color. The lion made him realize that you are a lion. You are not a cow. You are not a weakling. And the baby lion realized. This is only an understanding. The baby lion did not need to practice anything. He has to know. He realized internally, I'm also a lion. The lion roared, so the baby lion also roared. So in Eastern wisdom, we say the teacher is a lion, and a seeker feels that he is not a lion. So through understanding the principles, the lion teacher makes the seeker lion realize that you are also a lion. You are free from the suffering. It cannot touch you. No? So understanding. So again think that what baby lion had to do to realize that he understanding, knowledge. I was acting like a coward. I used to get scared when the lions were chasing me, and I used to behave like the calf. No, I am. So internally, when you understand, when you listen to the teacher, all these principles step by step, and one day you roar, I am permanent peace and happiness, love and wisdom. That is the way to become a Sikh. It is understanding. We understand the knowledge. We don't follow any cult and dogma and belief and religion. It is a fact. It is the truth that we are the lion. in this world. Well, lion means we have that strength, we have that knowledge. Our essential nature is permanent peace and happiness. But you see, in today's talk, we associate that how to become a seeker. So when we become a seeker, that idea, that thought, that knowledge remains with me all the time. I am the lion. I have to still realize, but I'm a lion, so it means any thought of hesitation, anxiety, I forget about my real self, my real nature, as I learned from a lion teacher. There are my permanent peace, even though I do not experience. Let me explore. Let me find out. In order to find out, let me become a seeker. You see that I do not talk of the heaven and the hell. I don't promise you anything except understanding you and your nature. The understanding is the knowledge. The knowledge is to be heard, practiced and digested and absorbed. So when we do not have that understanding, mind starts searching for security. So what I am doing every time when I talk to you, I say be pragmatic, be realistic. But to be realistic means you are pragmatic and I am also. So we undertake a journey together. We know the principles, we follow the path, and we expect the result in daily life. I expect only that you understand and follow the practice. And you should expect a result. Because if you don't expect a result, then why the hell we are talking and we are working together? See that? So there is nothing but the entire journey that you become an intense seeker, in the language of one great master who says satasangatve nisasangatvam, nisasangatve nirmohatvam, nirmohatve nischal tattvam, nischal tattve jivan mukti. What is the meaning? Association with the lion teacher brings non-attachment, or you can say brings detachment with those people, things, events that is causing the suffering. So what happens when the non-attachment comes in the mind? It leads to right knowledge. So how the right knowledge? Again by the same association. What is the meaning of association? You are learning the principles. So once you have the right knowledge, leads to heightened state of self-awareness. Self-awareness, I would say, the human self-awareness. And once we live into that, we are a seeker, and that seeker is always ready to bring an end to the suffering. Did I say self-awareness? Human self-awareness? Human self-awareness and animal self-awareness? What it means? What it means? That will make the things more clear. It just came to my mind, so I thought better I'll make it clear. You already have many animals in your home. You're taking care of it. You know, when a cat or even the creatures that you have, if you put them before the mirror, what they feel as if there is another person with their name in the same shape in the form is in front of them, and they want to attack or they want to have a company, like the dog when it looks into the mirror. They don't know that it is an image. We know it is an image when we look into the mirror. They don't know. So it means they have a low level of self-awareness. They are intelligent, no doubt. Why they are intelligent? The dog, I have seen the dog looking into the mirror, and then that dog goes behind the mirror to find the dog, where it is. But it is not there. They are intelligent. But being intelligent and having a self-awareness is two different things. So, but we know, we are 100% sure that this is an image. My friend, in case when we stand before the mirror, we say definitely it is the image in the mirror. And in the mirror that you see yourself does not have a weight, shape, size, color, anything. It is just an image. But the problem is that when we are in stress and anxiety and the suffering, we say, I am suffering. It is also an image. It does not have a weight and shape and the size. But because I associate myself so when I associate myself with anxiety and the stress and duality and a conflict, I enter into the insecurity. And the same mind starts searching for the security. Not a big deal to understand, it's so simple. But you have to listen to it and you have to think it again and again the way I am thinking based on the principles. So when you think based on the principles, you say, my goodness, I am crazy because I am feeling insecurity, I am feeling fear, I am feeling grief. None of them belongs to me. We are understanding the first part of becoming a seeker. So that sense of insecurity, fear or anxiety comes in association with other people, things and events. Even the grief is also in association with. Now start thinking of the story. The baby lion is in the company of the cows. He doesn't know that he's a lion. That's why he's pure vegetarian. He makes a sound like the cows and the calf. There must be someone to make him realize, come on, you are not a baby lion. You are not a cub. You are not a calf. So this is what we are doing. This is what we are understanding. Through the understanding, what is understanding is a knowledge. So what the knowledge does, knowledge removes that idea, that an experience of the grief and the fear. But at the same time, what we are learning to become a seeker. After all, the seeker, the person must know where we are heading to permanent peace and happiness. See that? I'm linking all these small principles. So if you have a clarity, if you are clear, write to me. If you are not clear, write to me. So then I'll make it. It is still a simpler thing. And I know you are wise, so you understand that. So, what a baby lion does while living in the company of the cows. See the other example. A lot of people meet me. First session I normally virtually I give free, and people say, I ask them, how are you? I'm happy. Very good. I'm doing fine. Very good. No issue whatsoever. Very good. And when we continue the conversation, after some time, few minutes, they start opening up. And what they say? Oh, I had a problem with my son and daughter and sibling or honey. Where they started, I'm happy, I'm doing fine. They are not doing fine. That is not the way to become a seeker. Why? Problem is the same. Baby lion living in the company of the cows. This is an example, a story to make you understand. So it means I have an understanding that I am just a baby cow, not a baby lion. So how that misunderstanding is to be removed? By becoming a seeker. That is what I'm talking about. So how the lion can help the baby lion to realize that he is also a lion? Who is facing the problem? Baby lion. Where the problem lies, does it lie outside or inside? It lies inside. So baby lion feeling as a calf or a cow's is the problem. What I want to say, you are the problem, you are the solution. My friend, are you getting it? You are the problem, you are the solution. Keep understanding. Lion teacher and a baby lion is a student, but has a misunderstanding that baby, that student is not a baby lion. That is why you say you have a problem. Then you have a solution. All problems are, now I am saying very important, is superimposed. All solutions are within you. Solution has to be discovered within you. How? By knowledge of self-discovery. Where that knowledge lies? That is what we are learning. So what is the main point to understand? We are the problem and we are the solution. No teacher, master, God can solve it. I'm just a pointer. So, what needs to be done? All wrong notions, ideas, thoughts are to be removed by learning, by listening, by thinking, by contemplation, based on these principles. Same, take say same example. Baby lion is pushed by the lion near the river to see his face. So what happens? Then the baby lion realizes, I am not the problem. Problem is ignorance, incomplete knowledge. I am upset. It is my problem. And that problem is not knowing correctly who am I. See that. We are working, we are understanding how to become a seeker. And when you are the intense seeker, the journey continues and you are bound to get the result. You will bring an end to the suffering. So, solution is here and now in you, not in heaven. It is here and now. So, do I know it? Do I feel it? Am I ready to work on myself and myself alone? That is what makes us a seeker. Then I know I'm responsible for my sorrow and happiness. Then you start thinking the way the masters educate our mind and intellect, not the way I start thinking on my own. And it needs thinking. We only think when we are self-aware. We are not self-aware like dog, we are self-aware like human beings. So whenever the mind experiences a sense of anxiety, duality, blame others, complains and have conflicts, our level of this self-awareness goes down. That is what the animals are doing. So what is the teaching of the masters? Rise in self-awareness. So what is the meaning of when you have fully developed self-awareness? That is the most important part of becoming a seeker. What it means. You have to live into that state 24/7. If we have fully developed self-awareness, then we have freedom to have complex comparison and conflict. So the moment any complex enters into the mind and comparison comes and conflict comes, your intellect says, okay, this pertains to in association with the things outside and I am free from it. I have to rethink over it. Then we have freedom to separate our anxiety, our problem from us. Then we have an ability to observe, choose, and control. We have freedom to think what is right and good. We have freedom to choose. If we spend our intellect wisely, if we use our intellect wisely, then You are separating yourself from the suffering. No one can ever help you. Even the Buddha cannot. I have to think. So when I have an anxiety, let me separate it. I have to think, apply that understanding. The baby lion has to think that he is the lion. He is not a calf. Then only he becomes the lion. Otherwise, he will remain as a calf. I'll remain as a stressed, anxious, seeking sympathy from others. No. Yep, I am. Another point of becoming a seeker also demands the same lot of thinking. One day I'm happy, other day I'm unhappy. I say it's a bad morning, I say it's a good morning. That is the way we live our life. Better than us are those creatures living at a low level of self awareness. So, when we start thinking in line with these principles, then our intellect inside develops, and that intellect leads us to the power of discernment. Power of discernment is already within us. Power of discernment means that there is a problem of ignorance, not knowing my hidden potential, not knowing my hidden nature. So the seeker always is aware, it knows, it has a thought, oh, that I am of the nature of peace and happiness. How dare the anxiety, etc. comes? From where it comes? In the intellect, in the mind, when I think of it. Even when I do not know. So that is what this self-awareness leads us to, self-inquiry. And the self-inquiry leads us to the humility, because I have yet to find myself. That even that thought gives you a sense of freedom, sense of calmness and relaxation. And then you are a seeker. Then you are committed to knowledge and practice and experience. That power of the intellect inside says that I'm a student of the path, I'm student on the path of the self-discovery. When you become a student, you say, what do you say? I have to see what is right and good. And then that seeker study himself or herself through this knowledge, through these principles. You need not to study anyone outside that guy is crazy, he harmed me. I have to study myself to know myself. And that thinking keeps your mind always on the path of what is right and good. You always follow what is right and good. So you become a seeker by accepting that real self in you. That real self is full of peace and happiness. Anytime, anywhere. the mind starts thinking of that real self is of the nature of peace and happiness. And also when the mind jumps to a thought, it's a bad morning, I'm in anxiety, I have a problem. You throw these thoughts outside. Why? Because you are a seeker on the path. You are not seeking security from anything outside. You are seeking a security from inside, you yourself. That problem is the problem of ignorance. And you are on the path to find the solution. So Patanjali says, there are 5 steps to become a seeker. We have already done the preliminary steps and understood what it becomes, what it makes you a seeker on the path. So what it means, I live into that self-awareness where I see what is right and good. And I continue to walk on the path with the humility with a question of self-inquiry. That I have to find myself. Problem is within me. Solution is within me. So once we have understood that part, and then we follow these, we understand these 5 simple principles that makes us an intense seeker. Let us do it briefly in this session today, and then we will pick up all the principles in the next session. So this master says there are born seekers. Now you can make a difference in your life and the lives of masters. Look at the Buddha. Buddha was forced to enjoy all the pleasures of life by his father king. He created a Las Vegas in the kingdom with all kinds of pleasures. But his mind internally was mature enough in spite of all kinds of the pleasures. So one day he was going with his servant into the kingdom, and he saw the old guy. Buddha said, "Who is this guy?" And the charioteer, the driver of the cart, says, "No, everyone has to become old." "Is that so? I will also become old. Then why I'm living? Why I'm enjoying these pleasures and the pain of the life? Let me find out who am I." So sometimes people are born seekers. That we will understand later why they are born seekers and why we are not. That's another question. So what happened? Then ultimately he got married, and even then he left the kingdom and he went to learn this art, this Eastern wisdom, and he got enlightenment. But he got enlightenment almost at the age of 49. Then there is another master, Vivekananda. Even at the age of 15, 16, his master told him to close his eyes, sit. What? Sit. Just no instructions, sit. He was absorbed into deep meditation. He lived only at the age of 37. He got enlightenment, at the age of 20, 21. And he contributed more than 200 books. He was the first master who came to US in 1893. So there are, you can say, the bond seekers. We don't know too much about this life and the real self at the age of the 16, but he was already prepared. So like this, we have many other masters we have witnessed in the history of the Eastern wisdom. But now the next question comes, okay, I understand that I'm not a bond seeker, but how to become a seeker like these great masters? So Patanjali says, what Patanjali says? That if you have, you can say the 4 and the 5 traits: Shraddha, Virya, Smriti, Samadhi, Prajna, Purvakitaresham. If I have a faith means a clear understanding, right knowledge about what is real self and what is not. And the mind is holding on to this. So that is why we have started this talk today. Second is Shraddha Viryam. I have energy, enthusiasm, and commitment to continue the journey. 2. Third, Shraddha Viryam Smriti, right memory. So every time I listen to it, I remember these principles and apply these principles when the mind runs after those thoughts, which makes me crazy. It's a bad morning. What the bad morning has to do? Bad morning, it is here. Sun is the same. Sun rises in the same way. The same sunlight is there in my room. Bad morning. You see, the right memory. That we will undertake next week in detail in understanding. And the 4th one is Shraddha, Viryam, Smriti, Samadhi. Regular practice with wisdom. Am I doing the practice? Regularly picking up, and I'm listening. Even listening and thinking over those principles is also a practice. And then prajna, I maintain clarity of the intellect. I live at the higher level of this self-awareness I have already explained to you in the beginning. And samadhi, prajna purvak itaresham. So when we have all these traits, we'll understand that. So once we have these traits, what happens? Your attitude changes. You live in totally a different attitude. And with that attitude, your life changes. So when we live with these traits, we live in that attitude which these bond seekers starts living, have lived, like the Buddha. So first, our master explains there are bond seekers. Then these are the traits present in those bond seekers, and if we follow these with clarity and understanding, we can also become a seeker. But if these 5 traits are 100% in you, then you are an intense seeker, and the intense seeker succeeds in few weeks. You asked me the question before that, I understand, then why don't I succeed? So if these traits are 100% in a person, you need a couple of weeks only. But if these traits are, maybe you can say 75%, then it will take a couple of months and years. And if these traits are only 50%, then it takes many years. See that? So what the master is saying, there are born seekers. We are not born seekers. So it means we have to work on ourselves. It means we have to understand what it means by being a seeker and how to become an intense seeker. So we have, with that level of self-awareness, we start the journey. We have a clarity and a goal in the mind. Then we have these traits we are going to understand in detail. So once we live in those traits, then I have a different attitude. What is that attitude? The mind is looking an object, I like it, gets associated. Now my attitude say, forget about it. Getting associated with that object or a person will bring sorrow and the suffering. Come on, my mind. Appreciate if it is good and say goodbye attitude. Someone says you are crazy and then you laugh inside. Nobody can give me a certificate that I am crazy. See that attitude. It comes when the mind lives with those traits. I have become a seeker. And then you live with those 5 traits and they are 100% in you. Journey becomes very joyful. At least one thing becomes sure, that you are not affected by any problem outside. You will see that, you will experience that in you. Even if you have a pain in the knees, you say, for example, pain in the knees, that is purely physical, but it will not cause suffering in the mind. The suffering is present in the mind. But because you are a seeker and the mind is totally absorbed inside, so you take care of the pain in the knees. But you will not suffer. Suffering takes place in the mind. This anxiety, this grief, this past impression, they all belong at the mental level. They give us the suffering. You cannot retrieve the past. You cannot create a future. I believe you are understanding now. We are going deeper. So if that is 100%, then the master introduces another principle, which he says, the existence, understand that existence, and offer all your thoughts, feelings, emotions, and actions to that existence. That is another way to intensify our journey. O mind, be at peace. Remember that principle my master always says, Are man shant rahe. And the last one, and before that, we had another understanding. When the knowledge is installed in the intellect, can end all the past and the current suffering. Why I gave the previous 2 talks to make you understand and to awaken in you a seeker that will succeed on this path easily. See that. So we'll pick up step by step all these 5 principles next week, but think of it again and again, that what it means by a seeker. And then we develop that attitude of becoming a seeker. First, living in the self-awareness. Remember, dog fights with the dog in the mirror where the dog is not present. We do not do when we see the image. Remember, the baby lion became cow in the company of the cows. So, because we were evolved in the same society which teaches us anxiety and reaction and duality and a conflict, in association with the things outside. So, when you drop that association inside, you find problem is problem of ignorance. Ignorance is incomplete knowledge. So, when the way the baby lion was pushed to the river to realize its own nature, the same way the knowledge of this helps us to realize that we are the great seeker, and the seeker always succeeds. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.